everyone. I'm Shannon, writing under the pen name of SC Huston, and I'm founder and conference chair of the AuthorTube Writing Conference. And you're here with this wonderful event today, and I'm the host of this presentation. So thanks so much for joining me for this special sponsor spotlight. And I'm excited to welcome WTC Creatives, who is our supporting sponsor for this year. And they're going to share some tips and practical insights. Practical tips and insights is what I wrote for indie authors looking to build a professional platform and without the tech overload or the huge upfront costs, because they do monthly payment plans, which I just had that broken down for me to understand what that meant exactly. I was like, oh, well, that's really a great thing for indie authors to break it down to payment plans, because I've hired companies in the past and it was like one huge sum. It's a lot. So WTC Creative specializes in professional web design and management for authors. They're also offering a 20% exclusive discount for AWC attendees, available only if you book through this weekend, but it is valid for up to 6 months after you book it. And you will find the link in the description box below. So I'll say a quick hello to everyone who's come in and before Devin, and I'll bring on James from WTC Creatives. And so hello, Devin, Rachel, Mom Maggie. Thank you guys so much for coming. I know this is a little bit later in the evening for some people. Hello, Blast Rights, Shelly, Inga. Thank you so much for coming. And Leon, let's go. All right. So now let me bring on the speaker for this presentation, James from WTC Creatives. And he's going to share more with you guys how they support indie authors with managed web design services. And I'll let James introduce himself and the company.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Shannon, thank you for hosting this. So as Shannon mentioned, I'm James Adams. I am the co-founder of WTC Creatives, along with Rachel Adams, or Rachel D. Adams, as a lot of the AuthorTubers know her. Been doing web design for over 25 years, off and on, just mainly playing around, decided that there was a need for authors to have a really good website after building the one for Rachel that we'll take a look at during the presentation today. And then I decided that, well, why not offer it to other authors? And so when I was thinking of a business model for this, I figured that one of the biggest hurdles for authors in today's world is the cost. And Shannon alluded to it, and it is. There's a huge upfront cost for web design. Usually it's a 50% down, and then when the website is built, 50% after that, and then you're done. They deliver the website, and then good luck trying to get a hold of them afterwards for support. I decided to go with a managed model. So essentially it's a monthly payment, and that covers not only the web design, but also your hosting and your monthly maintenance. So I make sure that everything is maintained, up to date. You get premium plugins, you get security updates, and then you get 1 hour development time each and every month that you can utilize to make changes on the website in case you want to change up a page or add a page, remove a page, that kind of thing, so that it allows for you to do what you want to do best, which is write books and not have to worry about having to deal with being a web developer or web designer and designing a website and trying to maintain it, because it is much like building a house as well as raising a child. It's like ongoing maintenance. It's never ending, and you have to stay on top of it, because if you fall behind, you risk getting your website hacked or worse, destroyed by hackers. So that's me.
Yay. All right, so we do have a presentation for you. James did share the slides with me. I put a link down in the description box. I'll drop it in the chat here in just a moment once he gets going on his presentation, so you can follow along if you want to as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat with a Q, so it's easy for us to pick it out, and I'll surface them as they come appropriate for James to be able to answer them. And if we do miss it, we will at the end have a period of time for more Q&A as well. So.
Okay, so let me get started. So your author platform made easy. So how to showcase your books, events, and build a professional website without the tech overload. So your website is your bookstore, your stage, and your press kit. So when you're looking at it, it's kind of like a Venn diagram. You've got your stage, your bookstore, your press kit, and you're in the center of it. With your website, you're able to sell books directly. You can promote events that you are attending, whether that be book signings, vending that you're selling your books at. It also allows for you to build trust with your readers, because they're able to learn more about you and learn about your books. And then a media ready bio and info. So as you start building your brand, you want to make sure that you have the availability of a media kit so that you can present that to potential podcasters or people who are wanting to interview you. That way they have that information readily available for them to get. So what is typically holding an author back from doing this? Well, it's too technical. It's too expensive. It takes too much time to do it, or it's unclear what the essentials are. What is it that a website for an author needs in order to be that portal, that brand recognition portal for them to be able to take a look and see what's going on with you. So what's the goal? You want to do a website that works for you without all of the stress. You build a site that helps you sell, connect, and grow without becoming a web developer, because none of us have time for that. Design stunning book pages. So what's needed on the book page? Clean layout with cover, blurb, calls to actions or CTAs, reviews and endorsements, excerpts or previews, easy buy buttons for Amazon, Books Nobles, bookstores, or direct. Now, one of the things I'll do is I will jump over so that you can kind of see some examples of things that I've done. So looking at Rachel's website here, when you start talking in terms of books, we have our book pages, which covers the series for the different books that are there. And then when you click on the books, you go to a book page. And this is something that's always been recommended, not only by me, but others as well. And this gives you information. So it's a high resolution image of the book cover, the information about the book itself, the blurb. Down here is all of the easy buy buttons and also review buttons. So when you click on this button here, it takes you automatically to the review section of Amazon so that you're able to do that. And then reader reviews. And then down at the bottom, other books in the series, so that you're not just stuck within one single one. If it's a series of books, you're able to click on the next book and go and start looking sequentially at what books are available. So this is one idea about that. There are other ways to do it. So Arcane Realms Press is our publishing company. So you look down here and you can see that there are other ways to display books, even on the main page. And so you can see here are coming soon. So this is Rachel's book 4. This is my book 3. Here's all the books that are currently available within the last 5 that have been published. And then these are mine that I've published. And then when you look at the book pages can be done in different ways. So much like with this here, where you've got a series of pages here, it can be more in a list type of thing, so that you can see a list of the different ones, and it's broken down by the published date for it. And it goes down by author, and then you've got a series, and if you wanted to cover the series, you can also do your series as well. So those are just ways that you can do this and set up your book pages in order to be easy to follow, very easy to navigate, easy to go into them and see what's going on with it, learn a little bit more about the book, and then be able to go and buy it right then and there. And
would you suggest that they have all those buttons on there for every place? Yep. Okay.
And it's very easy, because what I do is I build it in the background. So it's built out custom there's fields, and all you need to do is if you're wanting to go for Amazon, there's a field for Amazon. You just copy the link to that book page on Amazon and you paste the link in, and it creates the button.
Oh, nice.
So each one of these actually goes to those specific places: paperback sales, direct sales, ebook sales. We actually have our portal that we actually provide the ability for you to purchase books directly from us, as opposed to going through Amazon. And we encourage that as well. If you're going to do that, make sure that you make your book as wide as possible, unless you do, of course, the Kindle Unlimited, and they limit you at that point. But make it available as wide as possible, including your own self. And this is part of what this website does, is this allows for you to actually have that link into the store, to where when they click on the buy now for the store, they can go over into the actual website and purchase directly from you, whether that be an actual book or whether it be an ebook. All right. And then as far as when we talked about the media kits, on Rachel's website, we do have a media kit that I have created. And so the media kit essentially provides publicity information of how to reach out, the bio, the media that Rachel has been interviewed with, the social media stuff, because when we're talking in terms of media kits, they want to know what your followers are, the reading order of the books when they're supposed to be published, and then high resolution images, not just the headshots of Rachel and Dawn, which are the co-authors, but also the different book covers as well, so that you're able to download those. All right. Smart event promotion. So another thing that you want to do is you want to be able to make it readily available for your fans to know where you're going to be, especially if you're looking at trying to do in-person live events. It's always a fantastic idea to do an event calendar. Now, that can be something as simple as doing a Google Calendar and then linking it to your website to where they can click over into the Google Calendar and see what your events are, all the way to the creation of customized and custom-made event pages. So what does it provide you? Well, event calendar, you have the event calendar plugins that are available that you can use with websites that'll do something similar to this with a calendar of events. You want to make sure that you include RSVPs or sign-up forms for those events. So if there's an event coming up and you're going to be participating, whether it's a vendor or a speaker, and you want people to be able to go, you want to have those quick links to those actual event websites so that they can go and purchase the tickets so that they can come and see you. Social sharing tools, so quick share buttons to share them on social media. They're not a requirement, but they are a nice option to have. And then integration with mailing lists. You want to make sure that at any point in time during their journey through your website that they have the availability to sign up for your mailing list so that you have that captive audience so that you can utilize that. Looking back over here, if we want to go over to our...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
When you said you're putting the events on the calendar.
Yep.
Could that just be like just like online events as well?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
It can be online events as well. So like for here, upcoming events for Rachel, she's got the Right Women Book Fest. So it's a calendar, a line calendar. When you click on the link here, it takes you into it, gives you more information, lets you know that she will be attending and speaking. And then it gives you the start date, end date, the venue location, and then the website to go to.
And so
it's a very quick way
for you. A link just to the online portion where we go?
Yes. It's just the online portion. And so this is a way for you to be able to do that. And then like for Arcane Realms Press, same thing. It's just a little bit different of a format. When we had Festival of Legends, my wife is vending there. It gives us the availability to go in. We're attending and vending, start date, end date, and then the event website and the way to get tickets. So it's just a good way for you to be able to not only display where you're going to be, but also give them the availability and the ease of going to and purchasing, or at least getting to the website of those events so that they can understand a little bit more about where it is, when it is, and how to attend. So professional essentials for a website. An about page with the professional photo. So if you forego the use of a media kit with high resolution professional images, professional headshots, it's always a good idea that if you do your about page and that's the only thing you're going to have, it's always a good idea to have a professional photo there just so that they can grab that from there. If you're not going to do a media kit, of course. Your book pages, as we showed in the demo just a little bit ago, those are very important to be able to give the people additional information related to those books to kind of help ease that purchasing. A newsletter sign-up form all over your website. Every page needs to have a sign-up form so that they can easily go in and sign up for your newsletters. A contact page. Now, this can be a standalone contact page, or it can be contact information on your about page. I have seen it both ways. It just depends upon the preference. If you want to have a standalone contact page, that's fine. Otherwise, have the contact information on your about page. It's good for SEO because you are, in essence, even though you are an indie author, you are in essence a business. And part of SEO is that trust factor, and part of the trust factor that they look at is they look at contact information such as address, phone numbers, emails, those kinds of information. And then last but not least, the media kit or press section. If you want to do that, especially if you're in the interest of trying to go and do interviews or do anything related to podcast, things like that, it's always a great idea to have a media kit available, just so that you can refer a podcaster to that media kit for them to get the stuff that they need ahead of time, to where you're not having to worry about going back and forth on email, giving them that information prior to you being a guest on their show. Avoid the rabbit holes. So when you're thinking in terms of web design, don't obsess over fonts and colors. Typically on a website, you want to do a maximum of 2 fonts, one being a header font, and that can be the frilly, fancy font that you want to have that's kind of more towards your branding. Those are really good because the headers are typically large font size, so it makes it easier to read. The body font needs to be something that's easily readable. So it's a sans serif, Roboto, Poppins, Merriweather, Arial, Times New Roman, any of those that are easy to read. You want to use those as your body font. And you just want to select one of each so that you have that, so that you don't have a jumbled mess of different fonts on your webpage. Same thing with colors. You want to try and stick to 2, 3 colors at the max as far as your website is concerned, just to make it easier and cleaner to kind of, for the eyes, basically. So the more colors it is, the more busy it gets for your eyes, and it's very distracting for the reader as they're visiting your website.
And James, would you suggest that if they're choosing these 1 or 2 colors, that they pull like from their book covers, or like maybe something that has to do with their brand? Or
yeah, so I would say that in terms of colors, you want to try and think first with your brand, second with your book, and then third, you want to kind of look, if you're not really if you don't really want to do things that are more branded specific in terms of colors, or you don't have brand colors, then colors that kind of speak to you are things that you want to do. So when you're looking at websites, you have like what they consider as light mode and dark mode. So light mode is like the white background. Dark mode is typically the dark gray to black background. And so then you want to make sure that you've got colors that properly contrast with that. So you don't want to do a neon color on a white background, just like you don't want to do a dark red, like a deep maroon on a black background, because they don't really look good together. They bleed a little bit too much. So you want to try and make sure that whatever you're looking at trying to do for your website as an overall theme, you want to ensure that the color theme that you're doing is one that you're happy with, and one that's not going to be obtrusive to the end user's experience. Because when we talk about and we think about web design, and we think about what our websites are doing, they're a way for our end users, our audience, our fans, to be able to come in and find out more about us. But if it's overly busy, if it's hard to read, if the colors are really jarring, then at that point they tend to bounce, because they figure that if you're not professional in terms of your website design itself, then what kind of hope do they have as far as your books are concerned? And then try not to blog every week unless you want to. As being a writer, writing is always fun, but sometimes doing the research and things like that, trying to come up with ideas for blog articles, may not necessarily be the best benefit for your time. And it may be more of a benefit for you to use that to write the actual books itself. So it's really dependent upon what you want to do. If you want to do some blogging, fine, go for it. There's always those avenues for you to be able to do. And then last but not least, skip the complicated shop setups. Keep it simple. As far as websites are concerned, there are shop add-ons for WordPress. There's WooCommerce. WooCommerce is extremely complicated to set up and utilize, even though it is a powerful tool. So I would use like Fourth Wall. I would use some of the other websites that are out there that allow for you to set up a shop that you can link into your website easily without having to worry about all of the connections and the building of the inventory in the background trying to set up on your own website. So your secret weapon, manage web design. This is where I come in. So it's a done-for-you web design. It's hosting and premium plugins are included. It's tech support and updates handled. And then it's affordable monthly pricing. So it's a way for you to be able to get that custom designed website that's very pretty, that's very functional, SEO driven, mobile optimized, and allows for you to be able to concentrate on your writing. And I would concentrate on the technical stuff. I would be your partner in essence in trying to make sure that your website stays up, stays relevant, and looks good. So what authors think about WTC creatives. So these are some of the wonderful feedback that I've gotten from various authors that I have done websites for. So you can see Trisha Thacker, she was saying that, you know, WTC is very professional and direct. It's quick turnaround with good design. Time spent the website was very good. I feel like I got my money's worth. Kay Parquet, if you're looking for someone to create a kick-ass web design or website that stands out from the crowd, look no further than James at WTC Creatives. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Sarah Brody, James created a beautiful and functional website for me. He's easy to work with, professional, efficient, informative. I don't think I can recommend him highly enough. 5 stars across the board. And then the stranger here, Devin Gambrell, WTC Creatives, just built a website. They elevated my entire brand from start. James and the team understood the balance I needed. Space that felt professional and polished, but still captured my fantasy world's magic and my personality. So these are just some of the ones that I built websites for. And so you can see that so far I've done a good job.
I'd say I love Devin's and Rachel's. I've looked at. Actually, I saw Sarah's too. I think you have like her character off her book was popped out, and that was like really cool.
Yeah, and as far as web design is concerned, when you're thinking in terms of your author webpage, and it brings up a good point. Thank you, Shannon. When you are thinking in terms of building out your website, the first decision you need to make about your website is what is the focus of your website. Now, we know that books are the ultimate focus, but when we're talking in terms of the front page of that website, what do you want them to learn about first? Do you want them to learn about your books, or do you want them to learn about you? And so that's where you kind of come up with the idea of, hey, so I want it to be author-centric or I want it to be book-centric. So that's the first thing that you try and think of when you're going through this process of figuring out what you want to do with your website. So your author platform simplified. Build trust with a professional website. Now, you don't have to go through custom. There are website builders that are out there that you can utilize, Wix, Squarespace. There are WordPress templates that you can utilize as well. They take a little bit of time to build out the way you need them, but they are available and they are options that you have. If money is tight, these are options that you can go with. But make sure that when you build it, that it is professional looking, and that it is something that when people come to it, they enjoy the experience that they're there. They enjoy the way the website is set out, the ease of navigation, so that they want to come back or they want to recommend it to other people to go and visit your website. Promote books and events with ease. So you want to make sure that you have an ease of being able to, for the end user that's coming in there to your website, to be able to see your books, to learn more about your books, and then also the events that you're planning on attending. And then avoid the tech overload with managed design. That way you have somebody else doing the job, and then you're free to enjoy your more creative side instead of your more technical side. Enjoy your creative side and do that. Ready to build your platform? Easy. So go to the website, wtccreatives.com/AWC, and then from there you can sign up for the free consultation. During the conference, as Shannon mentioned at the beginning, 20% off the design services. The design services include the design of the website, the hosting for that period of time, and monthly updates, as well as your premium plugins. And once you sign up within the time frame of the conference here at AWC, you have essentially the rest of the year, 6 months, in order to take advantage of it, in order to maintain getting that 20% off on the design service. To learn more, you can go to wtccreatives.com/AWC. All right, we are at the question and answer segment of this wonderful presentation.
I kind of
And
peppered you with
so,
questions already.
yeah,
Sorry.
so let's go. When I talk about author-centric websites, so Tricia Thacker's is author-centric. So when you go to her website, the first thing you see and you learn about is her.
Now, from what I understand, people who do like author-centric things, and so I don't know if I've ever heard it in terms of websites, but like with subscriptions and stuff like that, we learned a lot from like Michael Evans when I was in a lot of classes and he's talking about subscriptions. You're author-centric when you build your brand around you and you're bringing like people in because of you and what you offer. Is it kind
Yes.
of the same? Okay.
Yeah, and that's basically what it is. So when you're creating a brand, you have to figure out how you want that brand to be. Do you want to be the figurehead and the central theme as far as that brand is concerned, or do you want your books to be that draw? So it's one of those where you have to kind of figure that out. Tricia wanted to do more author-centric. So first and foremost is about her, and then when you go down, you start to learn more about her books and things related to what she is and what she's done as far as her books are concerned.
I love that picture that has the different parts that you hover over and it change.
Yep. So I try to do all kinds of neat little things related to this. So this is Kay Parquette's website. And so you can see that hers has a little bit of motion to it. What the authors are saying, there's your newsletter sign up. She also has done Blossom Street. So I created a funnel page for her new book series that she's working on. And so it's more of an encapsulated page that you get all of the information related to the book and about her so that you're able to quickly go in, learn about the stuff, and then purchase directly either at the bottom or at the top. When you click on the books, you're taken to the book pages.
Nice.
And so you can buy there. So these are different ways that you can do it when you're trying to figure out from your books how you want to be able to promote your books and go from that perspective. And then Devin, I did 2 websites. I think a lot of people have already seen the first website for Devin. Again, similar format. Devin wanted to go more centric as far as the books are concerned. So first, front and center is our books. And then it's information down there that goes a little bit further in. So there's the front page here. You can easily click on Buy Now. Takes you over to the book page. And here's all of the stuff. With Devin, she had promo videos. And so I incorporated within the actual pages themselves the videos for those. And then the reader reviews here at the bottom. And then related titles so that you can go between the two. So there are different ways.
How do you get the reader reviews on there? Is it like, do people go there and leave it, or are you pulling it from somewhere?
It's getting pulled from somewhere. So when somebody leaves a review for you, you just pull them in and you can add them in manually here.
Okay, gotcha. So
this a little bit more of a manual process for the author, but it's very easy for them on the back end because it's just a block that you click add, and then it gives you the review. It gives you a block for the review. You copy paste the review in there, and then there's the reviewer block, and then you just put who the reviewer is. And as soon as you save that, it puts it down here at the bottom as a review.
Gotcha.
So those are different ways that you can do that. The other one that I did, because I also do directories. So in case any of you indie authors are looking for freelancers for different series, things, beta reading, stuff like that, I created this directory website I'll call Indie for Devin. And so you can go in and easily do a search for the businesses. You can either go to the full page that gives you all of the information related to those ones, and then you have like all of your different ones. So artists here, and what it does is it reshifts everything to your artists.
This was phenomenal, James, because I remember her old site. It was so hard for me to find what I was looking for on there.
Yeah. And you can search here on the front, so you can select your category, like your beta readers, and then when you go in here to the search, you can start typing a letter, and then it's going to pop up everything that goes along with that.
Nice.
So those are different ways that you can do it, trying to do the way things are set up. And then when you go to the web page itself, It has a different thing for Rachel D. Adams. Here's her information. Visit the website. This takes you over to her author resources page on her website. And then this one, because this is more of a directory / business, the reviews is directly here. So if somebody wants to review Rachel, they just click write a review. Nice. They fill out the information, give her however many stars for that. And then it updates the reviews, the amount of reviews and the amount of stars. So because this is more business centric, having those reviews are essential for a business. And so essentially this is what these are businesses that are advertising. So it's a way for them to be reviewed and people to be able to have that social proof when they come to this website to look for services.
Online white pages. Like a yellow pages, like a white pages.
Yeah, exactly. It's a online directory. And so she's got a featured section for featured businesses. I put myself on there because I'm important. Devin knows that. But it's just a quick flip of a switch, and these will appear or disappear depending upon that. Popular categories. If you want to do a freelance business, if you want to submit your freelance business, you click it here. If you want to find a business, you click here. It takes you over to the businesses section. And then she's got a blog section here at the bottom, or articles. We've got one right now for the welcome. So as Devin goes through and starts creating additional ones, they will appear. And so people can go in and read articles that Devin is writing.
She's probably waiting for the AWC to be over, so she has time to do it.
Yep. Yeah, we wanted to make sure that we had this available for prior to AWC, so that people could come to this and be able to utilize these resources ahead of time. So what other questions do we have?
Any other questions? Anybody? You can ask in the chat. We'll show them. I don't think I saw anything yet. I think all the questions were mine.
Which is fine. I greatly appreciate the questions.
And I'm going to, so I'll bring in a question. Hi, Heather. How's it going? So when you were talking about the book-centric pages, it did take me right away when I was talking about Sarah's, because I think hers has got a character that's still considered book-centric, I'm assuming, right?
It is, yes. So when you look at Sarah's website, her main series is Stella Kendrick series. And so this is her primary character. And so we did this to make it more centric to her series. As she expands, she's probably going to change this up to be a little bit more wide, broad spectrum. But right now, all of her books are primarily the Stella Kendrick series. And you can see there's motion with it. As you're scrolling down, you can see that the characters move.
I like it.
And then you've got this here with a review associated with it, what the readers are saying. And then, of course, your newsletter at the bottom. And another thing, as far as authors are concerned, if you want to, you can do a story progress page, especially if you are working on additional books. You can create these, and essentially it's a way for you to go in and give them a sneak peek of where you're at in terms of your book journey. So when you're writing your books, where are you at? Planning, drafting, editing, beta readers, cover art, final revisions, prior to publishing. So these are different things that you can do as well as a part of this process.
I always like those, but I can't figure out when my timeline's ever going to be. I just write.
Yeah. And the good thing about these is that it's not just the back end is very easy. It's just essentially they're fields that you type in the numbers, and it adjusts these percentages based off of that. Gotcha. So it makes it extremely easy for you to be able to maintain this as an author without having to go in and, I need to design the page. I need to set it this way, and I've got to put the image off to the left, that kind of thing. So it's just inputting data, and the inputted data comes out here because it's all advanced smart pages that are built. So I built all of this out, especially same thing with the books.
We've got a question, by the way.
Go for it.
What can you tell me about your steps towards security on the sites?
So I use WordFence as one of the primary security web firewalls that help out. I also rename the actual WP login to something unique that they don't know, so they can't even get to the login pages. So those are two ways that I do it in terms of maintaining security, to prevent them from being able to get to the login page to even try to do logins, and then also using WordFence as a means of creating that firewall to help block out different countries that are blacklisted, as well as people that try to log into the website. If they happen to be able to get into the logins with the script, it'll lock them out, and it locks them out for a week at a time. So it's very easy to try and prevent them from being able to do it over and over and over again to try and figure out what the passwords are.
And WP being WordPress?
WordPress, yes.
Okay.
My primary platform that I design in is in WordPress, which of course is one of the largest platforms that are out there.
They said, thank you so much. I've heard the horror stories and was curious.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about it, that it's not just with the security too. All of the websites, no matter which way you go, whether that's Wix, WordPress, Squarespace, there's Duda, there's a couple other ones that are out there that's a little bit newer into the market. All of them use plugins, and so that's another potential risk that you have, and that's the reason why maintenance is so important, because if you don't maintain the website and you allow those plugins to go out of date, eventually somebody's going to find a security loophole inside of one of those plugins, and they're going to use that to backdoor into your website. So making sure that you have your plugins up to date, your security, you're changing your passwords on a regular basis, protecting your login pages, things like that. Those are all ways that you can ensure that you increase the security. Is it 100%? No, there's nothing that's going to be 100%. But the more that you can do to mitigate those risks, the better off you're going to be in the long run. What else do we have?
We can get a few minutes and let people get a chance to get any questions in they might got.
Yep.
Might have. I can talk English today.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a busy day. It's a long day.
Yeah, the Saturday's our longest day for sure. So.
Yep.
And then it's been a long couple weeks leading up to it. Always is, but.
Yeah.
So, I know I could probably come up with 1,000 questions, but we don't have to. Okay. Great advice. Thank you.
Oh, you are quite welcome. Yeah, it's maintaining a website's like raising a child. It's constant maintenance. You're constantly having to go in and check on them, making sure they're not doing anything wrong, especially when they're quiet. You know they're up to something, so you want to make sure that you stay on top of that. So if you are looking at trying to do your own website, make sure that from the perspective of overall, you just want to make sure that you're taking that time and effort to keep that security up to date, just to prevent any type of issues happening.
How easy is it to add, change, upgrade anything on the website? I know this, but sharing anyway.
So as far as the websites are concerned, I will go into my website. I have an author website, Jackson Arkenmore. I'll go into that one real quick so that you can see the back end. All right, so the back end. So in terms of updating the website, it's very, very easy. So books, if I want to do anything related to a book, if I want to update a book, I just quickly go into here, click edit. I can change the book cover. I can change the book description, any of the information related to published date, edition, ISBN, is it a book series? What's the series number? Spice level, because my books are spicy, I have a spice level. And then here's the fields that you have for your different ones. So Amazon URL, Barnes & Noble URL, Kindle, Apple Books, other retailers, your reader reviews. Like I said, it's easy to go in and add in a review.
So it's just like a form, you filling out the blocks. That's so easy.
It is. And so once you fill out this form here and you put all of the information in, it automatically on the front end updates the books themselves.
Nice.
And so all of this information it's all dynamic. So it all updates dynamically so that you're not having to worry about going into the actual web page itself and go in and make those updates. And it's the same way with events as well. So going over here into the events, if I want to update or add an event, I can choose the image, the description, the address, the start date, the end date, the URL for the event, the ticket URL to do the ticket, the city and state that it's in, and the attendance type. So I can either be attending, vending, or speaking. And then last but not least, when I was talking about those progress pages, these are the progress pages. It's just a banner image. And then here are your different ones: planning, drafting, editing, beta readers, cover art, final revisions, and formatting.
And you can change those, like say if you don't do one or you want to add a step in there, like alpha readers on top of beta readers.
So if you want to add one in there, you just you would just let me know and I would add it in.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that goes into that 1 month of design time that you have every month. If you want to add in something or remove it, if it's there, so like the beta readers here, it's a 0. So if you actually go over into the site to the progress, you'll see that it's not showing. So beta readers doesn't show. It only shows the ones that actually have a value of 1% or greater.
So I think this is a great time, because you said that's part of the management that we pay for. I think it's a good time to go into the question that Kevin had here is, as a new author, it's imperative to have this website, but the issue becomes one of price for many people. Can you give a typical range for your services, knowing that a lot depends on what the author wants?
Yes. So essentially what it is that we have the availability on our WTC Creatives website. There's the information related to the different sites that's been designed, but under the web design section, I do put some prices here. So for the light, starts at about $99 a month. The plus is $199 a month, and pro is $299. So it really depends upon what you're getting. Essentially, the way this works, just so that you're aware, is that we talk back and forth to figure out what it is that you want for your website. I come up with a custom price for the web design for the website itself. And then what we do is we decide on how you want to break that up. You have a choice of either 12 months, 18 months, or 24 months. And so what you're doing is you look at, say, if I come back and I'm like, hey, so your website, you're wanting to go the plus plan. It's a custom design 7-page website. Here's all the different information with it. It's going to cost $3,000 for that. How do you want to pay it? You say you want to do it in 24 months, and you just take that $3,000, divide it by 24, and that's your monthly payment.
And so you help design the site for that monthly payment, and you upkeep it during that time period? Or
Yep, I host it, I upkeep it, I do all the maintenance on it, and I do monthly design for you if you need some changes that need to be done.
Gotcha. Nice. Okay. I like that.
Yeah. As opposed to the whole process of going through the thing of like, not only are you paying for the design of the website, paying $3,000 to a web company and usually paying the $1,500 up front and the $1,500 delivery. And then you have to worry about all your hosting.
Yeah.
I take care of your hosting as well as all of your maintenance, all for that price.
See, and I didn't get that, because we did some conversation through email about pricing, because we did the walkthrough before the conference happened. Yep. And when I saw the price, I was like, okay, this is comparative to the price I paid like 10 years ago for my website. But they just designed my website. There was nothing else they offered after it was done. So that's what I figured that's what yours were. And you kept talking about monthly payments. So, okay, monthly payment to just pay for the design of the website. I wonder what it costs to upkeep it. Yep. And so now I see it's all put together.
All together. It's an all-inclusive package that you pay. And basically the way I work it is that my goal in this is that I want to set up a long-term relationship with you as far as a client. And so if we go, like take 12 months, for instance, right? If you go with a package and you do 12 months, at the end of the 12 months, prior to that, I let you know that, hey, you're coming up on the end of your cycle. Do you want to continue? If you continue at the same price for another 12 months, at the end of that 12 months, you get a complete website redesign. And what that does is that allows for you to be able to keep up to date with the trends, because with web design, about every 3 years, there's major shifts in terms of web design, how the web pages are set up, the different elements that are there, SEO, all that kind of stuff, all of that changes. And usually it's about a 3-year life cycle. And so when you're talking in terms of that, the longer the term that you stay with me in terms of as a client, you get those redesigns each and every time.
So I do want to connect with everything you've been saying when you were going through the book pages and how it was all set up. Thomas Umstattd is another speaker for the conference, and he has the longest running novel marketing podcasts out there.
Yes.
He talked about the elements of a web page and what should be on there for authors, and like everything you were saying, exactly what he was saying. And he was also talking about how things have changed over time. So you guys are just like echoing each other, which is really great to hear that, because sometimes you hear so much information about like, you should do this for marketing, but over here, someone else is saying something else. And so you're like, which one's right?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. It's ever evolving, especially when new technologies come out. You'll see that there's going to be shifts that occur, especially in terms of design and development. The advent of AI is making development a little bit easier in terms of creating CSS and those kinds of things in the background. So there are plugins that are available, and there are websites that you can go to now that you can just type in a bunch of stuff about your website, and then AI will design a website for you. I've tried those because I like to stay up to date on things. I tried them out. They're very basic. It's one of those that you could go to Wix or Squarespace and create essentially the same thing. No real bells and whistles to it. No smart menus. No dynamic pages. Any of that stuff. So it's quite basic. But it'll do the job if it's something that, in terms of your monthly cost, that you don't have the money in order to do it. It's always a better thing to invest the money in stuff that promotes your books a little bit more. So for editors and book covers, things like that, because we all know how important those are in the long run in terms of being able to sell your books. So understanding that's the reason why I went with the managed model, to kind of make it a little bit more affordable monthly. To kind of ease that pain that you get when you look at the price tag for web design nowadays, and looking at, I'm gonna have to pay 50% up front. That's a lot of money to come out of pocket immediately.
What are the analytics are like? How can an author see like analytics? Is there an easy way to see that?
As far as analytics are concerned, usually if you're analytically driven and you want to know in terms of impressions and stuff, what I would do is I would coordinate with you to get you signed up for Google Analytics, get that attached to your website, and then you can go into your Google Analytics and see that web pages. It gives you like the amount of people that have gone to the web page, the bounce rate, the time on page, things like that. So that's what I would use. There are some plugins for WordPress. Monster has a plugin that links in with analytics, and so does Google. Google actually has a plugin as well for WordPress that allows for you to put the WordPress plugin in there and then set it up with Google. And then from that point, you'll be able to get those analytics if that's what you want to do.
Gotcha. And then Rachel says, when it comes to your services, what if an author has a book release coming in and needs more than one update in a month because of a special event? You mentioned one change per month.
No, it's not one change per month. It's 1 hour per month. So in terms of doing the maintenance, if you need an update or you need a new book added in or an update to a page, if it takes me 10 minutes to do the page, you've got 50 minutes left. So that's just, so it goes in terms of time as opposed to like the different aspects of it, those changes.
Devin says, didn't think about Google Analytics.
Yep. Google Analytics is there.
I'm only just now, I've had an author website since I've been an author, so 2021. I'm just now starting to think about it because I plan on selling something that I'm doing on my website. It's a story through mail, but it's also interactive on my website, and I'm going to start selling it as a product on my website. And like, I kind of need to know if you, like, I can't sell it anywhere. So this is not an Amazon thing I can sell. So everything's going to be driven to this. I need to know more about it.
Yeah. So the analytics, it gives you some good insights in terms of how popular your page is. The other thing that you want to make sure you're doing, like SEO, that your SEO is on point, to where when you're doing searches for websites, that you're actually able to do a search by your author name and be able to pull up your website. Be able to do a search by your genre and be able to pull up a website. And what I mean by genre is, if I go to Google and I type in arcane punk author, I'll come in here, and the first one on there is Kay Parquette, because I set up her SEO to not only pull from her name, but also to pull the type of author she is. She's an arcane punk author. So she's number 2 on the Google list. So when people are searching for arcane punk authors, she's coming up. It's very easy to find her.
I have no idea how to do SEO, but I must have done it right, because whenever I search myself, I come up with all kinds of stuff on my website, my YouTube channel, my latest videos, everything pops up. I'm like, wow, must have done something right.
Yeah, and the thing about SEO is it's the way the website is set up in terms of the different metadata that's on there. Another thing that's really important is what we call DA, or domain authority. And so the longer that your website is up and available, and the longer, and the more people go to the website, it increases the amount of domain authority. So the higher domain authority is, the higher you're going to rank, regardless of what you do on the SEO side. So like with Devin, when you do a search by Devin Gambrell, you'll see that her website pulls up first.
Yeah.
And then you can see all of the other things that are there.
That's what mine looks like.
Yeah. And so those are things that you want to make sure that you do, is that you have all of this information, and the more information that you put in there that is SEO friendly, the better you're going to have these pages where there's going to be pulling up images and Instagram, Facebook. And the reason why Instagram and Facebook always ranks high is because they have extremely high domain authority. They're usually in the 90s, because it's a domain authority goes out of 100. And so usually they're 95 to nearly 100 is what their domain authority is.
That's like another argument for why authors should have some social media, especially those ones that have high domain authority, because they'll be able to be found easier, even if they don't do a whole lot on there.
Yes. And that's why they talk about social media as being important, is because you've got your Instagrams, your Facebooks, your YouTubes. Those are all high domain authority. So they're always going to appear for any given search, are going to appear at the top. So you've got Instagram, here's YouTube, there's Facebook. And then Amazon also has high domain authority, just simply due to the fact of the traffic. But one of the things, here's Kickstarter. But you don't see some of the other smaller sites that pop up, but you'll see the ones that are there that are extremely busy. Reddit's another one. Any of your large community platforms typically will end up up at the top of the listings as well.
Nice. Wow. We are within 7 minutes of the hour. I don't know. Coming down to the end. And if anyone's got any last questions.
Magic. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, exactly. It's magic. It's all about magic.
Yep.
So those are different things that you want to do. Those are ways that you want to kind of think through the process and make sure that you understand. First and foremost, just kind of recap. First and foremost, what you want to do is you want to decide for yourself what type of focus you want your website to be. Do you want it to be book-centric, series-centric, or author-centric? That way you can better formulate and figure out how you're trying to set up your main page. Because this is the introduction to you as an author, as your books, things like that. This is where they come to first, is your homepage. And so you want to make sure that your homepage is on point and is providing you with the information that is the most relevant and important that you want them to know, to hook them into where they'll go in and actually look around the rest of the website and discover more about who you are as an author, as a brand, and your books. Most importantly, your books, because you want to make sure you're selling your books. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah. So Blast Rice says, this has been very informative. Thank you so much for offering this service and the education.
You are very much welcome. Like I said, it's a free consultation. So if you sign up during the AWC, we'll slate a free consultation, and we can talk one-on-one with what you currently have in terms of websites, what you're looking for, and then come up with a game plan. Even if it's not working with me, let me just get that clear. I'm not going to sit there and hard sell you on my services. My services are there, and if you're interested, you're more than willing to do that. If you're not, and it's not the time, I'm more than happy to provide you with resources to steer you in the right direction, whether that's going to a pre-made page builder, Wix, Squarespace, linking you to YouTube videos that give you tutorials on how to do WordPress web pages with the templates that they offer free for WordPress. I'm more than happy to do those various things for there, because my ultimate goal is helping you to get a good website out there on the web to start building up that massive fan base that I know each and one of you can get.
Yay, thank you. And you can find them again at wtccreatives.com/AWC to get that 20% off discount. Thank you so much for coming, James. And want a reminder for everyone. I'm sorry.
You are welcome. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, it's nice to learn more information. I did not know about you guys until Rachel's like, hey. And I'm sure she's talked about it before, but I hear so many things and I stay super busy and things come and go. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know. I completely understand.
Yeah. And I did get your email for because I have a consultation for, we're going to be doing the AWC website. So, so as a quick reminder for everyone, please take a moment to fill out the feedback form. This presentation is included, so we'd really appreciate hearing your thoughts. And also don't forget to stay involved in the community by playing the games in the attendee packet. I don't think we got any new answers on the games and challenges today. We had quite a few yesterday, but nobody did today so far.
Better get those answers in.
And there are cash prizes for it.
There we go.
And then, just being part of the community, keep the participation, helps with the spirit of the event. And thanks so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the sponsor spotlight. And the conference does continue tomorrow, Sunday, June 29th at 10 a.m. Eastern. And any last words, James?
Appreciate you all. Have a wonderful time. Enjoy the conference. Hopefully you'll learn a lot of stuff and it'll turn around and equal massive sales and becoming a New York Times bestseller.
Fingers crossed.
That's right. Fingers crossed.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.